to talk about the surface area for a triangular prism, and specifically a right triangular prism. Excuse me. Um, so here we go. Number one, first of all, if we look at a triangular prism, the one thing we want to ask first of all is how many sides does this shape have? And hopefully you'll notice that it does have triangle on each of the ends. And then there's 3 rectangles that connect those 2 triangles. So there's a total of 5 sides. Well, which shape are those sides? Well, the ends were triangles, but the parts that connect them were rectangles. So we have triangles and rectangles. Excuse me. And then the last question we need to think about is, how do you find the area of those shapes? Well, we know the area of a rectangle is 1 dimension times the other dimension. So if we can find our 2 dimensions, we can find the area of that rectangle. But how about a triangle? So we're trying to find the area of this. Well, this helps if we understand that a right triangle is really nothing more than half of a rectangle. So if the area of this was A times B, 1 dimension, times the other dimension, then the area of this triangle would be the exact same thing, but we only want half of it. So therefore, our formula for triangle is A times B, or the one short side against the 2 legs of our triangle, multiplied together. Okay. Let's see how we can put this all together to find the area then of a triangular prism. The first thing we're going to look at is our 2 green triangles. And we just talked about how to find the area of a triangle. So if I had these 3 sides, A, B, and C, notice when I pull that out, my dimensions from this shape, A, B, and C, are from my triangle. That's going to be a real important piece as we look at creating our formula. That A, B, and C come from our triangle. And then here's the 2 sides we multiply together, A times B divided by 2. However, that's just one of those. The other triangle is the exact same thing. So if I know this one, I can just double it, and now I have them both. However, if you look at that equation or expression there, whenever I divide by 2 and multiply by 2, those 2 things just cancel each other out. So really, A times B is both of my triangles together. That one simple multiplication has now given me 2 of my 5 sides. Now we're going to pull out our rectangles, and we'll look at the blue rectangle first, the part that connects the bottom 2 parts of our triangle. So if I pull this out, it ends up being A times H, 1 dimension times the other dimension. Let's look at the back side rectangle that I have here in red. If I pull this one out here, you'll see that that is side B times H. And then if you look at the yellow slanted side that connects the 2 triangles, we have C times H. So here's 1 rectangle, a 2nd rectangle, a 3rd rectangle, and my 2 triangles combined. So we've got our individual pieces. Well, if we're looking for total surface area, and we simply have to add those parts together. So if we look at our formula, A times B is my 2 triangles, one of the rectangles, another rectangle, another rectangle, and we add those 4 products together. Now, one of the keys, and there's 2 big keys for when you're identifying the dimensions of this shape, is that you realize and remember that A, B, and C have to come from the triangle. If you look at my shape below, A, B, and C are from the triangle. And I'll even suggest that kids do that they take their finger and outline the triangle. It'll help them focus on A, B, and C. A lot of times they think A has to be the smallest of everything, and it doesn't. Sometimes H is the smallest. Sometimes H is in the middle. So you want to make sure A, B, and C are from the triangle, and that we write them in order from least to greatest. We need that side C, our hypotenuse, to be the longest. So it's easier just to find A, B, and C and put them in order from least to greatest. Let me give you an example of this. So it may be helpful if you at least write this down. So start with problem 1 and an A, B, and C, and then an H off to the right. And the reason why I'll show you in a second why I like that H off to the right. First key to getting this is number one, identifying your four numbers, your A, your B, your C, and your H. Find the variables. Now again, I said A, B, and C need to come from the triangle. And this is where I'll tell students with their finger to literally just trace the triangle on their page. Go around it 2 or 3 times so you can see, yep, I see my triangle right there. And say, what are those three numbers from least to greatest? Well, there's 3, 12, and 15. If they know those are 3, 12, and 15, then the only other number has to be our height. Our height is 16. Now let me show you why I like the formula written, or my variables written out like this. If you look at the formula, the first thing they want you to do is to multiply A times B. Well, that makes sense. It's the first two I have on my list, A times B. From there, they have you multiply A times H, B times H, and then C times H. So if you remember, oh, I need to multiply my first two together, and then each one times H, you can kind of work through the formula without even having to look through it. I can look here now without even looking at the top. Go, oh, yeah, that's right. A times B, A times H, B times H, C times H. Remembering that we're adding those things together. If you want to take out a calculator and try that, see what you get for an answer. As I do it real quick in my head, I'll see if I can get, see, 15 and 15 is 30. That's 480. 480 and 36 is 516 square feet. Now, I'd like you simply to try just one of these. Okay. So start on your paper with problem 2. Locate A, B, and C, and then H. Once you've got those four things, then you want to follow your formula of A times B, A times plus A times H plus B times H plus C times H. That'll walk you right through your formula. Then you can start the video and you can watch the solution. First thing about this problem is you want to make sure that you're identifying A, B, and C correct. And a lot of people start off go, oh, my smallest number is 3, so they think A has to be 3. But if you look at our triangle, let me get rid of it. Color that shows up really well here. If I look at your triangle here, 3 isn't even part of my triangle. There's my A, B, and C. And if I take them from least to greatest, I have 7, 11, and 13. Therefore, my only other number must be my height, which is 3. So if you didn't get the correct answer, then I want you to go through and try this and see what you get. The correct answer was 170. And again, we want to have inches squared for that. And if you didn't get 170, then take your time and try the problem again. Assignment for today is actually 2 worksheets. Worksheet A and B. Okay. On worksheet A, I'd like you to do, there's only 5 problems on there, so you're doing all 5. Okay. On worksheet B, we're going to do 1 through 6 and omit number 5 because we haven't dealt with it yet. It's a cylinder, and we haven't done surface area of a cylinder, so we'll skip it. You do want to be careful on worksheet B. Problem 6 is not a triangular prism. It is a rectangular prism, so you want to use your formula from yesterday for that problem. Both worksheets will be attached to my webpage.